Hey guys, how we doing? Jack Bennett here from iCanPlayDrums.com, and today we're going to do the first of 3 videos this week focusing on the blues shuffle. Many different ways that you can play the blues shuffle. There's a lot of different drummers you need to check out. They all sort of have their own feel and different kind of spin and take on it. What I'm going to do is give you some building blocks in these first 3 lessons, show you some of the basic patterns, how to get the different dynamics on the hi-hat and the snare, and then eventually in the 3rd lesson some variations that you can put on the bass drum as well, just to get you started with the blues. And then I highly recommend that you go and check out some drummers that I'll list in the description. Some really important recordings as well that you should check out and really get a sense of how what the drummer is playing is locking in with, how the guitarist is phrasing their upbeats and all that sort of stuff. But in this first lesson, I just want to give you a basic pattern to get you started. Now, as with a lot of groove playing, the patterns can be quite simple to read or just to learn, but when you try and get the subtle dynamics happening with both hands and even the bass drum, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye when you're first starting out with the pattern. All right, so the first thing is we have to understand what triplets are. All right, so triplets are 3 evenly spaced notes per beat, and we're going to be in 4/4 time, so we still have 4 beats in every bar, but every beat is divided into 3 instead of, oftentimes we're dividing into 1/8 notes, which are 2, or 16th notes, which are 4. So we're dealing in 3s now. And we count it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and next bar, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So every bar of 4 is divided into 3, and we have 12 notes total, 4 times 3. Otherwise, the time signature is known as 12/8. It can be written in 12/8 as well. All right, so we're going to stay with 4/4. Now, the hi-hat pattern is the first thing that you'll want to learn. All right, so the hi-hat is going to play on all of the beats, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the 3rd triplets as well. So if I count along as I play it, it's like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, and again, I'm going for a really basic pattern here, a very obvious and stated triplet feel. There's all sorts of different feels. You can make it more kind of dotted 1/8 note, 16th and so on. You can close up that little gap and so on, but this is just a basic pattern. Now, straight away, you would have noticed that I'm not playing either the same volume for the 2 notes or the same part of the hi-hat. So what I'm trying to do, and the reason that I play different parts and hit with different volumes, or dynamics as we call it, is I'm trying to convey a sense of pulse. And that's really important. On the hi-hat, you can do that all on the hi-hat. You don't even need the backbeat on the snare. You don't need that driving 4 on the bass drum yet. You should be able to convey the pulse just on the hi-hat. All right, that's really important. There's a lot of intricate work that goes into hi-hat playing. So I'm playing what's known as the shoulder or the shank of the stick on the edge of the hi-hat, which gives me a thicker, more kind of attacking sound on the beats. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, and in my head I'm subdividing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And on the 3rd triplet, I'm raising my wrist and I'm dropping the stick, playing with the tip of the stick on the top. Now, the fact that I'm not kind of really whipping down anymore like I was with the beats, I'm just dropping the stick, so it's softer as well. But irrespective of the volume, it's actually a thinner sound, okay? It's a lot more staccato, whereas this is a slightly longer sound, okay? We're talking small increments here, but nonetheless, this is a thin sound, this is a thick sound. I'm playing this one louder, so I'm hitting harder, using that kind of wrist whip motion, kind of like Molar in a way. And this one I'm just dropping, okay? So that's going to take you some time. A lot of people, they can play the pattern, like they can go, but it's got this stiff kind of monotonous sound about it where everything's the same volume and it doesn't have a particularly nice feel. There's no what we call internal dynamics. So internal dynamics are the different dynamics that go on inside a groove, irrespective of the overall dynamic. So you might be playing at MF, mezzo forte, you might be playing at double F, you might be playing at double P, right? Fortissimo, pianissimo, and so on. You might be playing at those different volumes, but inside that volume, you're also playing louds and softs the whole way through. That's called internal dynamics, all right? And it's really important when we're playing grooves. Okay, so let's get used to that motion going. Really, the motion starts up here on the previous triplet to the beat. We come up, we drop the stick, and then we sink the wrist down. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. 1, 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. And it's the same motion no matter what speed I'm playing it at. Okay, I'm probably not going to use a whole lot of finger snapping or anything like that if I'm playing it slow, because I use more wrist and arm when I play slow. All right, but as I get faster, the motion is the same. I'm still hitting the top here and the edge here, but it's a much more condensed motion because I don't want to be kind of flailing around like that. That's really ineffective and inefficient technique to do that. So when I play fast, like... See how I'm just doing this smaller movement now? I'm not doing... Okay, so at that point, like it's a really small thing, and I've converted to fingers and a finger snap to get that second note, but it doesn't matter. It's the same sounds. It's still the top and then the edge, all right? And you might think, wow, that's a long time to spend on just a hi-hat. It's that important, okay? This will really make or break your groove. Okay, so for today's groove, we're just going to learn the fundamental. What we're going to do next is we're going to put what we call 4 on the floor with the bass drum. So we're going to play all the beats with the right foot with this happening at the same time. That's the next thing to try and do. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, that's the second exercise. And the third thing would be to put that all-important backbeat on beats 2 and 4. It depends entirely on the dynamic you need to play at, the environment you're in, the instrumentation, the room you're in, and all of that. But for a general all-purpose sound, I'm going to go for a rim shot on the backbeat now. But if I was playing in a really soft jazz trio or something like that, and we happen to be playing a shuffle, well then, I might be playing... That might be the volume of the backbeat, and that might be loud enough, okay? So you really must think musically. There's not just one sound. You can go for, it depends on so many different factors. All right, but for now, I'll go with the backbeat being a rim shot. Nice and solid, okay? So at this point, we've got 3 limbs going. Right hand on hi-hat, backbeat on snare, and all 4 with the right foot. And that sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you can't get that straight away, you've got a 3-limb exercise. Divide it into 3 lots of 2-limb exercises. Practice just the hands together. Practice the right hand and the right foot like we just did. Or practice the left hand and the right foot, okay? Making sure that on 2 and 4 when you land, it lands in unison. That can be something that's really hard to do. It's so simple, but it can be really difficult to get perfect every time. You'll often hear these little splits and little flams. I've noticed that in my own playing over the years, or something I've really tried to iron out. So that would sound like this. And then all together, 1, 2, 3. All right, so that's a basic pattern to get you going with the shuffle. Of course, you can put it on the ride cymbal as well. Exactly the same thing. Get those dynamics happening with the right hand, not just all monotone going. All right, loud, soft, loud, soft, loud. Because if you do that, immediately the listener knows, bang, there's the pulse, because the one previous to it is softer. It becomes really obvious. There's no sort of, I think the groove might be here, but I can't really tell. It becomes really obvious to the listener, and that's what you want, conveying that sense of pulse. All right, so that'd sound like this. All right, in the next lesson, we're going to check out playing some ghost notes on the snare, really soft, around those backbeats. And then in the third lesson, we're going to vary up the bass drum figures as well. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.